Hey guys, November the 19th, 2025, and I hope everybody's been having a wonderful, sober day today. It's another beautiful day here in South Carolina. I think it's like 70 degrees out here right now or something. It's just, there's not a cloud in the sky. It's beautiful today. Like I was saying the other day, I know that there's going to be some rain coming soon. I haven't even looked at the weather app or anything to see what it's supposed to be like. I don't want to know, really, to be honest with you. Although I like to see what's going on this weekend because I need to figure out what we're going to be doing. But anyway, sorry I didn't have a video for you guys yesterday too. I did put up a short, but the long video that I did, I uploaded it to YouTube after I edited it and put it all together and everything. And then after I got it onto YouTube, because I have premium, I can just, have my phone off and I can just listen to the show. And I got all the way through it and was like, I just don't like, it was like the last 10 minutes I didn't really care for. So instead of making it public, I deleted it and went back and deleted maybe like 9.5 minutes off the video. And I got done doing that, reposted the video again, listened to it, and it just didn't make sense. After I deleted that last segment that I didn't really care for, once I put it back together again, it just really didn't line up correctly. And I tried. I sat there last night and tried playing with it to see if I can make it work. I just couldn't. So I decided just to scrap it and say the heck with it, and I'll post a video tomorrow. So I'm back here again today. Sorry I didn't have a video for you guys yesterday. By the time that I noticed that the video just wasn't up to par, it was too late to get outside and film another video. It's been getting dark here at like 5:30 right now or something, and I didn't want to film in the dark or film inside. I was pretty tired at that point anyway. So either way, once again, I'm sorry I wasn't here yesterday, but like I said, it's a new day today and I'm here today. So what I wanted to talk about is something that I discussed in the short that I just made just a few minutes ago. And what that is, what I think is like the most important thing that you can do in order to stay sober. I think this is, like I said, one of the, if not the most important things that you can do in sobriety, and that's staying busy. And there's a whole lot more to it, but staying busy, finding a hobby, starting to work out. I mean, there are tons of things you can do, but you have got to. And this is just my opinion, take it however you want, take it with a grain of salt. But in my humble opinion, I really do believe that, getting and staying busy is the key to staying sober. You have got to occupy your mind and just keep it moving. I just really do think that once we stop doing things, idle hands are the devil's playground. And I really do believe, there's a reason that saying is there. It's because, once we stop doing things, we get bored, our minds start to wander, we start to daydream, we start to think about the nostalgia from back when we were drinking or using or whatever. That's when we can get ourselves into trouble. And like I said, that's all I want to talk about today is what I believe is the most important thing that you can do for sobriety. So like I said, finding a really good show or movie or something like that, or a good book, it's really good in the beginning, but what do you do later on in your sobriety? And that's, like I said, what I wanted to talk about today is, finding things to keep busy. I think that has got to be one of the most important things about this, because if you are sitting around with idle hands, if you're sitting around and you're bored, your mind is going to wander to drinking. Especially if you've been somebody that's been drinking for the past, 10, 20, 30 years, every single day. It's what you do to fill your time. You're the type of person, you get off of work and you just, plop your butt down somewhere. You sit down in the same place every afternoon and you just drink beer and listen to the radio, or drink beer and smoke cigarettes and just hang out. You can entertain yourself with alcohol. You can. I used to do it. I'd spend the whole entire day sitting on my back porch smoking cigarettes, listening to podcast and playing around on my phone. I could do that for 12 straight hours if I could stay awake. But I could entertain myself with alcohol. And like I said, once I removed it, now what? I had to start finding things to keep busy. And one of the first things that I did is I started walking around my yard with one of those little pickup sticks. Just got the little clamps on the end. I started walking around picking up pine cones in my yard with a 5-gallon bucket. I put in earphones, listened to a podcast or an audio book, and I walked around, just picked up pine cones and sticks. That's all I did. Was it fun? I mean, not really, but it kept my mind occupied. I wasn't thinking about drinking. I wasn't thinking about running to the store and grabbing a 6-pack really quick because I can handle it now. I just stayed busy. And, as I started to progress into my sobriety, I started trying to find more and more things to keep myself occupied. And, what do I do now on the weekends? I'm home now. I'm with my kids. I'm trying to find things to do with them. And I couldn't always do anything physical with them because I would be really sick. There were a lot of times where, there were months of time that, I was stuck, laying in the bed or just sitting on the couch. So what could I do? I started asking my kids, what do you guys want to do? Hey, will you play a video game with me, Dad? Sure. I got really big into playing video games with my kids. I wasn't good, but I just played video games with them all the time. They really enjoyed it, and it gave us something to connect together on. It gave us something to talk about, have conversations about. So I started playing video games with my kids. We watched movies together. I started finding TV shows that my kids enjoyed, and I'd watch those with them. Then we started doing things like, I remember very vividly in the beginning of my sobriety trying to figure out like little art projects to do with my kids when they were off on, Thanksgiving break or Christmas break. We made a bunch of like Halloween decorations for Halloween one year. I think this was back in like 23, maybe it was 24. But we had a bunch of old pallets. My wife used to ask the manager at Tractor Supply if she could have the pallets that were out back. And he was like, get them, take them. So she used to bring home pallets all the time because she knew I liked to play around with stuff like that and try to build things. I've built so much stuff out here on this property with old pallets. I've built dog houses. I built an outhouse down here, which is not finished yet. I'll have to show you guys on video one day. I built a cabin down there with old pallet wood. And it was all free. I just had to take the pallets apart to do it. But, I just started taking these old pallets and building stuff out of them. Like I said, we built a bunch of Halloween decorations one year. I made a big skeleton with my kids. I had my kids draw out the shapes of the bones and everything on the pieces of wood, and we cut it out with a jigsaw, and my kids painted all the bones white with paint, and then my oldest son took black paint and then drew out like the face on the skeleton and like the middle of like the arm bone. It's got that little hollow piece right there, and he did all that up, and then we drilled holes in it and tied it all together with a little piece of string. I've shown that before on here, but we built that all out of pallet wood. We made pumpkins and all this stuff. I made a big sign out here for our property that says the name of our farm and everything out of it. Out of old pallet wood. I've done so many projects with that. There was a period of time where I just loved taking old pallets apart and building things with it. I don't really do it much anymore, but like this table and everything I'm sitting on right now, this is all made out of repurposed wood. But that was something that I found that I really enjoyed, and it gave me something to do. I mean, it could be something as simple as going out and dumpster diving or something, if that's what you're into. When I was a kid, I don't know if it's illegal or not. It might be now, and I think some places it actually is. But when I was a kid, every once in a while, sorry, Mom and Dad, but this is the truth. My parents used to take us, and we'd go back behind Kmart or something and jump in the dumpster and see what we could find. We used to pull all kinds of stuff out of those things. They throw brand new stuff away in those dumpsters, but that was back in the 80s. I don't know now. Probably not a good idea to do that. But once again, just finding anything. You could be going for a walk, going for a bike ride, maybe go to, Hobby Lobby or Michael's or something and get yourself a starter paint kit and some canvas. Start doing paintings. What is it that you've always wanted to do but never done? What's a hobby that you've always been interested in? And be like, man, I've always wanted to do that since you were a kid. What is it? We all have something that we've always been interested in, and we just never had either the time, the money, or the want to do it because maybe we were just too drunk or we were too busy hanging out and partying. But now you got the time. Now you're not going out and spending all of your Friday night hanging out at the bar and spending all your money drinking. Maybe you're not hanging out with your friends on the lake all weekend long, just getting smashed, or going to the club and getting smashed. You've got free time now. Whatever your days off are. Not everybody's off on the weekend. Not everybody has 2 days off in a row. Whatever your free time is, find something to fill it with so that you're not sitting there doing this number, twiddling your thumbs. You don't know what to do. Go ahead and really start looking into stuff. Get on Google and type in hobbies. Start scrolling through them and see if there's something that interests you. Maybe it's, I talk about this all the time because this is something that I have always wanted to do, and I just have never invested the time or the money into it, and that's clay pottery. I've always been interested in that. It is just something that I've always found so neat. I think pottery is beautiful. It's all handmade. I just find it to be just such a cool thing to do. And you could actually make things that you can use. You can make baking dishes and, dishes to hold water or cups or bowls or plates or whatever it is that you're interested in making. I just always wanted to do it. I've always wanted to make pottery to put around my house, like some big vases or something like that. And one day I think I will get into it. I was talking to my brother about this not too long ago, because he has always been interested in pottery as well. We did a bunch of pottery stuff when we were kids. We were both in the Boy Scouts together, and we used to go to summer camp every single year. Our parents used to send us off to Boy Scout summer camp, and we would spend the whole summer there up in the mountains. And most of the time it was up in the mountains in North Carolina. There's a big Boy Scout camp up there, and we would do all these things because every year you could pick the merit badges that you wanted to get, and it was a really big Boy Scout camp. I mean, there were hundreds of kids there, and they had these classes throughout the day, and you picked them before you went to camp. So they could have everything scheduled out properly and everything. So, one year I picked pottery, and my brother did as well. And there were things like archery and, woodworking and canoeing and kayaking and all this kind of stuff. And that's one of the merit badges I got was canoeing. I got a kayaking merit badge, and one of them was pottery as well. And that one course that I took that summer, getting my merit badge for pottery, I just found that to be just such a neat thing. And I've always wanted to do it again. And like I said, one day I probably will. But, just really spending time to figure out something that you will enjoy that's going to take your time up. It could be just hanging out with friends. You could have some friends or family that are sober, and maybe you guys just like to get up and barbecue all weekend together and not drink. Maybe you just have some, homemade lemonade or some sweet tea, or, maybe you guys just drink water and just cook a bunch of really good food. I mean, that's an awesome way to spend a weekend. You get ready on Monday, you go ahead and get your ribs, and you clean the backs of them, get the silver skin off, and rub them down with the dry rub, and let them sit in the fridge for 3 days and get that dry rub marinated all the way into the meat. And then maybe on Thursday you do some, you braise the ribs or something, and then you pull them out of the braising liquid and let them cool. And then Friday they're ready to get slapped on the grill and get barbecue sauce on them, and maybe you make some potato salad and stuff, and you guys get together and just have a really cool barbecue together. And everybody eats everybody's food, and you guys can have an amazing time talking with each other, eating delicious food, just being company and supporting each other. I mean, that's an awesome way to spend your time. That's an awesome weekend. Maybe it's canoeing, getting out on some open water. Maybe it's canoeing across a lake or a pond, or maybe there's some river that you've always wanted to travel down, or maybe you like fishing. Maybe you want to get out and try to catch some fish, or go crabbing, or throw shrimp nets, or throw fish nets. There are so many things to get into. Maybe it's hunting. It's hunting season right now. It's deer season. We're in it right now. Maybe you want to go buy yourself some deer tags and go hunt. There's a lot of people who do it, and they spend their whole weekends doing it. That's one thing I couldn't do it. There's no way I could. I just couldn't. It's just not in me to do something like that. But I know some people do it. I mean, and we all eat meat. Well, not everybody, but a lot of us eat meat. It comes from somewhere, and that might be something that you're into, is going out and saving yourself some money on the grocery bills and, go getting a couple of deer every season, processing it up and putting it in your freezer. You could eat on that for a whole year. There's so many hobbies out there. It could be, maybe rollerblading or skateboarding or, bicycling, maybe an electric bike. I've got an electric bike, and let me tell you, it is so much fun. When I'm feeling up to it, and, my kids want to go ride bikes or something, my kids have regular bicycles. I'm the only one with an electric bike because I just can't pedal that far. I'd get exhausted. But I go out and ride around with my kids. We'll load up the bicycles and, go into town and go ride around. It's so much fun to do that. You get to see things from such a different perspective. When you're in a car, you're just not looking around really. You're looking at the road, you're looking at the cars, you're looking at the traffic lights. You're not looking around. But when you're on a bicycle or something, riding around an area that, you're really familiar with, but you've never been on foot or on a bike, it's a totally different experience. You could see everything around you. You can look at the buildings up close and personal. And I just think it's so much neater to do something like that. That's a great way to spend a Saturday afternoon, just out riding your bicycle. Or, like I said, rollerblading through town. I don't know if people rollerblade anymore, or maybe it's scootering. Maybe it's the old roller skates that you want to get into. I don't know. There are so many different hobbies and things that you could do. It could be making jewelry, and the thing about this is too, guys, is that, once we get sober and we focus our energy into something else, like whatever it is that you're into, like I said, like making jewelry. Maybe that's something that you've always been interested in, and, it's something that you just think that it would be really neat for you to do, because not only is it fun and takes a lot of time, but you could be making some extra cash with it. I mean, you could seriously be making extra money with your hobby. Find something that you really, really enjoy doing. Find something that you're going to be passionate about. Maybe you really are into fashion, and fashion. You know what fashion looks like. That's something I don't know, but some people really understand fashion. They know what's new, and what's out there, what's big right now at the moment. And you could be making homemade jewelry at home, and that would be taking up your time. You're not thinking about drinking or using. You're not going back to doing that. And you're taking your hobby and turning that into money, turning that into dollar signs. I mean, I'm not joking around. I'm being serious. You could be listing this stuff up on Etsy or eBay or, whatever, and making some extra cash. If it's only $100 a month, that's $100 more than you had before. And you're not wasting all your money getting drunk on the weekends or every single day. And you're getting a positive net income at the end of the month. I mean, you can't go wrong there. I think that's a really great thing to do. So once again, just finding anything that's going to occupy your time, something that you're going to be passionate about, something where you get involved in it and you start doing it, you get so sucked into it that, like, you don't even know what time it is. Your mind is just laser focused on it, and just everything's passing you by and you're not even paying attention, and the next thing you know, the day's over. There are a lot of times where I'll get, to doing something with my kids, and, I wake up that morning, I'm not feeling all that great. And my kids ask me, what are we going to do today, Dad? And, I say, I don't know, let's go for a little walk or something. Maybe that'll get me, pepped up a little bit. And I'll take them out for a walk in the woods or something. And the next thing you know, I start feeling a little bit better. And then I'll find something for us to do together. Because I just really always I wasted so much time back in the day not spending time with my kids and doing things with them, that now it's like any moment that I have free with my children, I want to spend time with them. And I know I get on their nerves now because I'm always, wanting to do something with them. But I'll get, sucked into doing something with my kids. And before you know it, 8 hours have just like that, they're gone. The whole day just zoomed by. And I wasn't thinking about drinking. I wasn't thinking about anything. I was just focused on what was going on in the moment and enjoying myself, creating memories with my children that they'll always remember. And like I said, the whole day's gone and I didn't spend it or waste it thinking about drinking. I really, truly do believe, guys, that finding a hobby or finding something that you enjoy doing, whatever that may be, it could be multiple things, but finding a thing or things that you really enjoy and pouring yourself into them, I think it's one of the most important things that we can do for our sobriety, because it really, truly does give you something. It gives your mind a job. It gives your mind something to do. And you're not focusing your attention on whatever it is that you're trying to get away from anymore. You're focusing your attention on whatever it is that you're enjoying doing. And once again, you could be investing your money that you used to use on alcohol into this. Maybe sit down and calculate how much you used to spend on drinking and smokes or whatever, or drugs, whatever it is that you used to enjoy doing. Write it down. Every day I would buy a 6-pack. That cost $12, and a pack of smokes was $8, so $20. And then I had to get my Red Bull because I felt bad that day. So add all that stuff up. Maybe it's $30, $40, whatever. Multiply that times 30, and there you go. You got your number. Maybe you drink a little bit more on the weekend. However you want to do it, calculate how much you spent every month on alcohol, and let's say it's $1,000. Cut that in the middle. Let's say $500, and take that $500, put the other $500 away. Put it in a savings account or something, or use it for something else you need to pay off something, pay a bill or something like that. Take that other $500 that you used to spend on alcohol and use it for investing in whatever it is that you enjoy doing. Things cost money. It's just the way it is. Even if you want to go for a hike in a national park, that's something that you enjoy doing, is going hiking. You got to pay for the gas, one way or another. Gas isn't free. Oil changes on your vehicle aren't free. Tires aren't free. Things cost money. So if you want to drive somewhere, it's going to cost money. You're going to have to, bring along some waters and some snacks, and, you're going to have to pay for gas, and maybe you need to stop and maybe grab some lunch on the way or whatever it is. It's going to cost a little bit of money. But, and some things do cost a lot of money. There's some hobbies that are not cheap. But, take half of what you used to spend on drinking and using and invest that into your hobby. Start buying things. Maybe it's archery that you want to get into. You could take that $500 and buy yourself a bow. Buy yourself some what do they call those little things? The little things that you put on your bow that make it quiet. They're like whisper or something. They look like the little things that go on the end of the microphone. The little fluffy things that get rid of that wind noise. They put one on the top and one on the bottom of the bowstring, and when you pull it back and let go, it keeps it from smacking the bow itself, and it doesn't make a lot of noise. And it also keeps that when you pull the bow back and let go, it goes like. It keeps it from being so loud. But you could get those, and maybe buy some arrows, maybe buy some different points for your arrows. I used to be into archery years ago. I got rid of my bow. I gave it to my buddy Sammy because he was interested in it. I said, here, you can have it. I haven't played with this thing in a long time. But you could be doing that, investing your money into archery, buying some targets and things like that, and going outside and shooting targets on your free time. You get off work, go home, get yourself a cup of coffee, or maybe get yourself a Diet Coke or something. Go outside and shoot targets for the afternoon until you got to go inside and make dinner. I think you guys would be just blown away how when you really find something that you truly, truly enjoy, your mind will be so occupied with whatever that is. When you're at work, in the middle of the day, you're sitting there daydreaming about getting home and shooting those targets, and, how you're going to do better today. And, yesterday your grouping wasn't all that great, but today you plan on trying really hard to get your grouping together because, you weren't taking into account for the wind or whatever it is, and you're on your computer doing research on how to shoot better or something. These things, like I said, not only is it going to, suck up a bunch of time on your free time, but it's going to give you something to think about instead of daydreaming about drinking all day. You're going to be daydreaming about your archery, or daydreaming about pottery, or daydreaming about making jewelry, or, coming up with the designs for your jewelry on your free time during work, or whatever it is. I truly, truly, truly believe that finding something that you absolutely enjoy doing, and sometimes that takes just trying things out. Maybe it's something you've never done before and you give it a try and you're like, I'm not really into that. One of the things that I've picked up here recently is knife making. It's been something that I've always wanted to do. I've got a family member of mine that makes knives, and one of them was given to me for my birthday back in 2016, and I've kept that knife the whole time, and I've always I enjoy just pulling it out and looking at it. I don't ever use it because it's such a special knife to me, but it's been one of those things that I've just enjoyed looking at. It's been something that I just like to pull out and just look at the beauty of it and how nice it is, and look at all the little things that he did to it and stuff like that. And it's just been something I've always thought would be so cool to be able to do. And I used to watch that show with my kids. There are these hornets flying around me right now. I guess they're trying to get at my coffee. They're over here flying around my coffee mug. I've got my daughter gave my wife for her birthday some gingerbread coffee. It's by I think Dunkin' Donuts, and I figured I'd give it a try this afternoon, and maybe it just smells really sweet for the hornets right now, because they will not leave my coffee alone. I don't want to get stung today. But once again, guys, finding something that you really truly do enjoy, a hobby, it could be anything. Maybe it's, driving cars. Maybe cars is your interest, and you like to rebuild engines and rebuild transmissions and do body work and stuff like that. That's an awesome hobby. A lot of money, but it's an awesome hobby. Motorcycles is another really cool, and I was into motorcycles for years upon years. I mean, I rode motorcycle. I had a motorcycle before I had a car, and rode motorcycles my whole entire life. I've had like 20-something bikes. And that was something I always really enjoyed, working on motorcycles, riding motorcycles. That sucked up all my time back in the day. That was before I got really, really deep. And actually, my last motorcycle I sold it because of my drinking. It was like a Sunday. I had gotten off work early that day. It was out here. And I used to own a street and trail motorcycle. It was a Suzuki's DRZ 400. And I had done a bunch of custom work to it, pulled everything off, painted everything matte black. I mean, it was a really cool looking bike. I'll have to share a picture with you guys at some point, but I really did like that bike. But I was out here one day on like a Sunday afternoon, and my wife said, do not get on that motorcycle. I used to keep it in my shed. And I was like, why? Why not? She's like, you've been drinking. Don't get out there and ride on the bike after you've been drinking. I was like, whatever. Pulled the bike out. My kids were out there, got it running, because I used to let it sit for long periods of time, because this is back when my drinking had gotten really, really bad. So I wasn't riding bikes like that. And went out there, try after try. I finally got it started up. The carburetor had gotten a little bit clogged up from sitting. And once I got it going, I started revving it up. My wife came down there and told me, do not get on that bike, I'm telling you. And I was like, I'm getting on my bike. You're not going to tell me what I can do. Got on my bike, came right down over here, and I went to go down one of these trails right over here. And as soon as I cut to turn onto it, there's a bunch of pine straw on the ground. And the bike came right out from underneath of me. I mean, right up underneath of me. And it fell right on my leg. I got hurt so bad. It twisted my leg backwards. And like I had a limp for about 6 months. Never went to the doctor. I don't know what happened. I've still got a big bump on the front of my leg. Years ago, this happened. But anyway, after I crashed that bike, and I had crashed that bike so many times, and it was always when I had been drinking. I remember one night, I got off work, and when I went to leave, I was trying to show off, and there was a dirt road behind my job. I went all the way through, got on that dirt road, and started acting like a fool, and before you know it, I crashed right behind my work on the dirt road, and there were a bunch of people out there watching. It was embarrassing. I crashed in front of everybody. And, after I'd had all these accidents on that motorcycle, that last time I said, the hell with that bike, I'm getting rid of it, and I sold it. It would have been nice if I could have kept it, but, I just didn't have any self-control, and every time I drink, I thought it was a great idea to go start it up and do something with it. I never got on it when I was sober. It was always after I'd been drinking because I felt like Superman. I was invincible and nothing could hurt me. And I found out that was bullcrap. I wasn't invincible and I did get hurt and pretty bad too. But anyway, guys, I'm not going to keep carrying on and on and on about this and giving you guys every example of something that you can do as far as a hobby or something. Once again, find something that you enjoy. Just find something that you enjoy. You know, here recently, I've been getting into camping with my kid, with my oldest son. My youngest son doesn't really like to camp that much, but my oldest son really does. And the two of us have gone camping. You know, we went camping about 2 weeks ago, that weekend. He wants to go again, not this weekend, but the next. And I'm probably going to end up taking him if I'm feeling okay. But camping has been something that I've been getting into with my son again. It's been something that I've enjoyed my whole entire life, but I'm really getting back into it now again. And, you know, we're not going too far. We're staying close. But, you know, just being able to get outside with my son and, you know, sleep in a tent or sleep in a hammock all night long and make a campfire and cook our dinner and our breakfast and our lunch on it and just sit around the fire all day and just talk to each other. I can't tell you guys how excited that makes me feel. You know, all week long, I'm getting so hyped up thinking about the weekend and all the cool experiences that the two of us are going to have. And I'm going to take a bunch of pictures and video, and it's just so awesome to me. And it really, really is like I'm a kid again. I really do feel like a kid again. Finding something to do is so important, guys. Find something, whatever it is that you enjoy. And I'm telling you, you'll start to get that kid feeling again. You're going to start waking up in the morning and you're excited for the day. You're daydreaming when you don't have anything going on and thinking about whatever it is, whatever hobby or whatever it is you've poured yourself into. You know, you're daydreaming about that. And to be able to focus your attention away from the alcohol, the substances, and now you're getting excited about your friends and your family and your hobbies. That truly is peace. And that's truly like the way that we're supposed to live, you know. Not waking up every day hungover, getting off work and getting smashed drunk every single night and stumbling and mumbling and, you know, fumbling your words all around and slurring your words and arguing with people and just being a drunk mess. And it's just not the way to live. You know, having something that you enjoy and waking up in the morning of the day you get to go on your little trip to do whatever it is, man, that feeling that you get, that excitement, that kid-like feeling again, you can get that back, guys. I'm telling you, you can. The first step is speaking with a doctor. If you haven't gotten sober yet, speak with the doctor first, because quitting alcohol or benzodiazepines abruptly is life-threatening, and you can have a lot of complications because of it. Just go through the comments of any of these videos and read what people are saying. A lot of people recently, and thank you so much for leaving your comments and letting people know the experiences that you've had trying to quit without assistance. There's a lot of experiences in those comments. People talk about what happened to them. Read them. This is not a joke. I'm not trying to scare anybody. It truly can become a really big problem. So speak with a doctor. But if you have, you know, go into this and find yourself something, whatever it is. Find something that you're going to start doing, a hobby, and start doing it. And I promise you, you will start feeling so much better. Your time's going to be occupied. You're not going to think about drinking as much anymore. Your friends and your family are going to be excited for you. They're going to see the change in you, and they're going to want to help and join in with you as well. You know, when people see you doing well and excited about something other than getting drunk or using, they're going to want to join in. They're going to want to be a part of whatever this is that's making you so happy. It's got to be, in my eyes, just one of the coolest experiences in the world, just to watch the whole shift from the way things used to be to the way that things are now in sobriety. It truly is a night and day difference. With that said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and hop off of here for today. Thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel and you've been watching here recently, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. I don't ask for this very often, but I'm trying to get the channel to 30,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That's my goal. I really want to get to 30K before the end of the year. And I know it's achievable. We can do it. But I need y'all's help. And like I said, if you haven't subscribed to the channel and you've been watching, it's so simple. It doesn't cost you any money, nothing at all. Just hit that subscribe button. If you're watching from your TV or Roku or something, just hit any button on on your remote, and that little screen is going to pop up. Just go down to the bottom and scroll over to the right, and it'll say subscribe, and just hit OK. If you're on your phone, it's right there. Just right there on the screen. Just click this, hit the screen real quick. Just tap it on this video. Tap the screen right down there on the bottom. You'll see a little tab, and it'll say subscribe. Just scroll your finger over it and just hit it, and you'll be subscribed to the channel. You get notifications when a video comes out, which I do one every single day. You'll get a notification about the short that I did for that day, which I'm doing those every single day now as well. So there's going to be a video and a short every single day. You'll get notifications for those, and when you get that notification, all you got to do is click it, and it'll take you straight there to the video. I've got some other plans that I'm thinking about doing here in the near future. I'll go over those with you guys here shortly. But I just really want to expand the channel, just grow it as big as we possibly can, because the bigger this channel gets, the more people are seeing these videos, the more that we get this education out to people to understand how dangerous the alcohol really truly is. Because it is. It's very, very dangerous. It's not this simple thing that we just drink when we have celebrations together. It can be that, but it's a lot more complicated than that. And there are so many people in this country and around the world that are suffering with AUD right now, and they don't know where to turn. They think they're the only one. They've got so much guilt and shame that they're carrying on their shoulders every single day, and they don't know what to do about it. And if we can get this channel bigger and get the videos out to more and more people, like I said, it's going to get more people's recommended feeds. More people are going to see the shorts. Maybe they'll decide to click that button. Maybe they'll decide to come here to the channel and watch one video. And maybe, just maybe, something that I say in that video is going to trigger something in their head and make them go, do I have a problem with this or do I not? Maybe it's something they've been thinking about and rolling around in their head now for the past year. They just can't make their mind up. And maybe they come to the channel because you hit that subscribe button. And I'm not joking, guys. It's how it works. Because you hit that subscribe button, it gets the videos out to more people. They hit that button, and they just click the video, and then they come to the channel, watch a video, and then maybe, just maybe, they realize, I actually do have a problem and I need help. Think about how that could save their life, could save the lives of the family that's around them. The children don't have to deal with this anymore. There's so many people that will be affected in a positive way. And it's as simple as just hitting that subscribe button. And not trying to be dramatic, I'm being serious. But anyway, thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate it, guys. And I think that's it for today. Until tomorrow, I will see you guys then. I hope y'all have a wonderful, beautiful rest of your day today. I love you guys so much.